When people talk about airplanes that change the world, one name stands above almost all others: the Boeing 747. It wasn't just an aircraft, it was a statement. When the Boeing 747 first flew in the late 1960s, it redefined what was possible in commercial aviation. Before it, long distance air travel was expensive, exclusive, and limited. Flying across oceans was something reserved for business travelers, diplomats, and the wealthy. The idea that ordinary families could cross continents or oceans by air was still relatively new and still relatively rare. The 747 changed that almost overnight. The story of the Boeing 747 begins with ambition bordering on risk. In the early 1960s, Boeing was already a major player in aviation, but the commercial airline market was becoming increasingly competitive. Juan Trippe, the head of Pan American World Airways, believed the future of air travel depended on scale. Bigger airplanes meant more passengers. More passengers meant lower ticket prices. Lower prices meant air travel for the masses. Tripp pushed Boeing to build something unprecedented. Boeing responded with a design that many considered impossible: an airplane so large it would dwarf everything that came before it. Engineers knew that airports weren't ready for it. Runways, terminals, and hangars would all need to adapt. Some inside Boeing worried that betting the company on such a massive aircraft could ruin them if it failed. They built it anyway. The 747 was revolutionary in both size and design. Its wide body fuselage allowed for multiple aisles, dramatically increasing passenger capacity and comfort. Its distinctive upper deck, originally intended as a first class lounge area, became one of the most recognizable silhouettes in aviation history. That hump wasn't just aesthetic, it was functional. Boeing designed the cockpit on the upper deck so the nose of the aircraft could open upward, allowing for cargo loading. This foresight would later extend the aircraft's life far beyond passenger service. When the Boeing 747 entered commercial service in 1970, it immediately captured the public imagination. It was nicknamed the jumbo jet, a term that became synonymous with size, power, and modernity. Flying on one felt different. The cabin was quieter, the space felt expansive. Long haul flights became less exhausting and more accessible. Air travel changed from an elite experience into a mainstream one. Ticket prices dropped, international tourism expanded, global business accelerated, families emigrated more easily, cultures mixed faster. The 747 didn't just carry passengers, it carried globalization. For airlines, the aircraft was transformative. Routes that once required multiple stops could now be flown nonstop. High density international routes became economically viable. Airports expanded and modernized to accommodate the new giant of the skies. The 747 became a symbol of progress. It appeared in movies, television, and advertising. It represented the future, confidence, and technological mastery. For decades, seeing a 747 on the runway meant something important was happening. It carried presidents, popes, celebrities, and millions of ordinary travelers alike. It also became a workhorse. Beyond passenger travel, the 747 proved invaluable as a cargo aircraft. Its ability to carry oversized loads made it essential to global logistics. Entire industrial components, humanitarian aid, military equipment, and even other aircraft were transported using its cavernous fuselage. No other airplane matched its versatility at scale. Over the decades, Boeing introduced multiple variants. The 747 100, 200, 300, 400, and eventually the 8 each improved range, efficiency, and capacity. The 747 400, with its extended upper deck and advanced avionics, became one of the most successful long haul airliners ever built. For pilots, the aircraft demanded respect. It was powerful but complex. Training to fly it was a milestone in an aviation career. For flight attendants, it offered unique service opportunities, including lounge areas and upper deck cabins that felt almost private. For passengers, it became the airplane of memory: first international trips, honeymoons, military deployments, immigration journeys, business deals, family reunions. The 747 carried moments as much as people. But no aircraft lasts forever. As aviation technology evolved, airlines began prioritizing fuel efficiency and flexibility over sheer size. Twin engine wide body jets became more capable thanks to advances in engine reliability and regulatory changes. Aircraft like the 777 and later the 787 could fly long distances with fewer engines, lower operating costs, and more route flexibility. The economics began to shift. The 747 was built for an era of hub and spoke travel, where massive numbers of passengers moved between major hubs. As airlines shifted toward point to point travel, Smaller, more efficient aircraft made more sense. Gradually, airlines began retiring their 747s. Some were converted to cargo service, extending their useful life. Others were scrapped. A few were preserved in museums. The sight of a passenger 747 at a gate became rarer each year. In 2020, Boeing ended production of the 747, closing a chapter that had lasted more than half a century. The final aircraft built was a freighter, a fitting end for a plane designed with cargo in mind from the very beginning. The end of production was not a failure. It was the natural conclusion of a long and influential life. The legacy of the Boeing 747 is not measured in units sold alone. It is measured in how it reshaped expectations. It taught the world that air travel could be spacious, affordable, and global. It forced infrastructure to evolve. It accelerated economic and cultural exchange on a scale never seen before. It also left an emotional imprint. Ask pilots, engineers, and travelers about the 747, and you will hear something consistent: respect, affection, nostalgia. It was more than transportation, it was an experience. Even today, when one flies overhead, people still look up. That reaction says everything. The Boeing 747 did not just change aviation, it changed how humanity moved across the planet. It turned distance into something manageable. It made the world feel smaller, not by shrinking it, but by connecting it. And while newer aircraft now carry the future forward, the shadow of the 747 remains, a reminder of a time when bold engineering, risk, and vision combined to lift the world into a new era of flight. That is the history, and that is the legacy.